It was late October when Sarah Chen installed her first smart home system. She was excited, the kind of excited you get when you finally splurge on yourself after months of saving. Voice-controlled lights, a video doorbell, smart locks, even a thermostat that learned her schedule. Her two-bedroom apartment in Portland felt like it had entered the future. She didn't know that in 3 weeks, she wouldn't feel safe in her own home anymore. Story 1. The thermostat that knew too much. Sarah's routine was simple. She worked from home as a freelance graphic designer, rarely left the apartment except for groceries, and kept to herself. The smart thermostat was her favorite feature and adjusted automatically, kept her cozy during those rainy Pacific Northwest evenings. But on November 12th, something changed. She woke up sweating at 3 a.m. The apartment was 89 degrees. She grabbed her phone, opened the app. Someone had manually overridden it. She changed it back to 68, confused, thinking it was a glitch. The next night, she woke up freezing, 52 degrees. The thermostat had been turned down to the minimum. Her hand shook as she checked the app's activity log. The changes were made at 2047 a.m. from a device she didn't recognize, an IP address that wasn't hers. She changed all her passwords immediately. Two-factor authentication on everything. Called the company's support line the next morning. They assured her the system was secure, suggested she might have clicked a phishing link. She hadn't. That weekend, the lights started. They'd turn on and off in sequence bedroom, hallway, kitchen, living room like someone was walking through her apartment. Always at night. Always when she was alone. The messages started appearing on her smart display. At first, they seemed like glitches. Random text fragments. But then they became specific. You look tired today. I like that blue sweater. You should lock your bedroom door. Sarah's stomach dropped. Someone was watching. The cameras. She'd installed 3 security cameras. One at the front door, one in the living room, one in the hallway. She ripped them off the walls, hands trembling, tears streaming down her face. She called the police. They sent an officer who took a report, but he was honest with her. Unless they could trace the hacker, unless there was physical proof of a threat, there wasn't much they could do. He suggested she factory reset everything, maybe stay with family for a few days. That night, staying at her sister's house, Sarah got a notification on her phone. Her smart lock had been unlocked. At 11:34 p.m., she called 911 immediately. Police went to her apartment. The door was indeed unlocked. Nothing was missing. But on her kitchen counter, unplugged in piece and canner, unplugged and placed in a neat row, were all 3 cameras she'd ripped from the walls. Someone had been inside. Story 2. The voice that wasn't his. Marcus Webb thought his ex-girlfriend had finally moved on. They'd broken up 8 months ago, and though Jasmine had taken it hard, the calls and texts had stopped 3 months back. He'd started dating again, installed a smart speaker in his Denver lock to make the place feel less empty. He'd ask it to play jazz while he cooked, set timers, check the weather. Normal stuff. Until the speaker started talking back in ways he didn't program. It began with music he never requested. Songs that he and Jasmine used to listen to. Their song from when they first started dating. At first, he thought maybe the algorithm was just pulling from his old playlists. But then it started reading text messages aloud. His private messages. Texts from his current girlfriend, Amanda. The speaker would interrupt his breakfast, reading Amanda's messages in that artificial voice. He'd never enabled that feature. Marcus checked the app. There was another account linked to his device, an email address he didn't recognize, but the profile picture made his blood run cold. It was Jasmine. She'd somehow maintained access to his smart home network. He removed her immediately, changed the Wi-Fi password, reset the speaker. But 2 days later, his smart TV turned on by itself at 2 a.m., playing their old videos recordings from trips they'd taken, clips she must have uploaded to a shared cloud account he'd forgotten about. He contacted the police, showed them the evidence. They reached out to Jasmine. She denied everything, claimed her account must have been compromised. There was no way to prove she was the one actively controlling his devices. Marcus got a restraining order, but the damage was done. He removed every smart device from his home. He still flinches when he hears that wake word. Still checks over his shoulder when his phone buzzes unexpectedly. Story 3, the baby monitor invasion. Kristen and David Park were new parents, exhausted and grateful for any technology that made their lives easier. The smart baby monitor seemed perfect. It had night vision, temperature sensors, two-way audio so they could soothe their daughter Emma without getting out of bed. For 6 weeks, it worked flawlessly. Then Kristen heard the voice. It was 1:15 a.m. Emma was crying, and Kristen was about to get up when she heard a man's voice coming from the nursery. Not David, who was asleep next to her. A stranger's voice, singing a lullaby. Kristen ran to the nursery. Emma was alone, but the voice continued through the monitor's speaker. Go back to sleep, Mommy. I've got her. She screamed for David, ripped the monitor from the wall. Her hands wouldn't stop shaking. They called the police, contacted the manufacturer. The company admitted there had been a security vulnerability default passwords that many customers never changed. Hackers had been accessing camera feeds, watching families, talking to children. The parks had changed their password, but not soon enough. Someone had already gained access, had been watching their daughter for who knows how long. The worst part came when they reviewed the monitor's cloud recordings. Hours of footage showed the camera panning and zooming, not random movements, but deliberate. Zooming in on Emma's face, tracking Kristen as she moved around the nursery. Someone had been controlling it, watching them, for at least 2 weeks. The police investigation led nowhere. The hacker used VPNs, masked their location. Untraceable. The parks moved to a new house within a month. They use a basic audio monitor now. No cameras, no internet connection. Kristen still can't sleep through the night. She checks on Emma every hour, manually, in person. She'll never trust a smart device again. And sometimes, late at night, she swears she can still hear that voice, singing in the dark. Stay vigilant. Your smart home might be smarter than you think, and you might not be the only one controlling it.